So Ajax stands for A for asynchronous, J for JavaScript, A for and, X for XML. Okay, and it is a technique for creating faster and dynamic web pages. The reason why I called faster is, so if I have a page, okay, if I have a page, let's say if I am browsing for, in the lens cart website, I am browsing for products. So this is my one complete lens cart page, and let's say this one complete lens cart page is of 100 KB. So now the internet connection, which has to continuously be on from the client to the server. So this is a pipeline. So this pipeline has to be of 100 KB, because from a 100 KB pipeline, a 100 KB page can come. Okay, so this pipeline, this is called as bandwidth. The server bandwidth has to be 100 KB, and this you can think of the server who is sending the information. This is the server who is dispatching the information. This server. So there should be some pipeline from the server to the client, and that pipeline depends on the amount of traffic. That pipeline will depend on the amount of traffic what we have. So if I have a 100 KB traffic, my bandwidth will be 100 KB. Okay, so using this pipeline, this page will be sent to my front end. Now if this page gets loaded completely, okay, so this page gets completely loaded on my browser. This is a 100 KB page, just come from a 100 KB bandwidth. Now I am browsing for images. So these are the images, and I am browsing. So I have a right scroll to go to the right next image, and that will give me description of the image also over here. The costing, whatever, will always be there. Okay, so description, pricing, whatever. So as I scroll the images, the data, the details of that also will vary. Now this image and this detail is of 1 KB. This is of 1 KB only. This much information which I am just changing every page. So when I click on the next, the next product I want to see, only this much part of the page is changing. The entire 100 KB is not refreshing. Only this much, a portion of that page is refreshed. So if there was product P1, I was getting information about product P1. Now when I click on the right arrow, it goes to P2. So now over here, product P1 image will be removed and product P2 image will be replaced, and information about P2 will be there. So like this I can just browse for the various products. Now when I just click on the next image or the next product, I want to refresh only this much part, the green part of the web page. Only the green portion of the web page I want to refresh, and this much is just 1 KB sufficient. So I don't have to have a continuously connection of 100 KB. Now after the page is downloaded, my bandwidth can now shrink also to 100 KB to 1 KB. That will lower my cost of the website. So now with this 1 KB pipeline, I can have all the images sent. So after the page is loaded also, you can send a request to refresh only a portion of the page. That is what Ajax does. So it is faster. And this is done asynchronously. Means the page is also loaded, and in the background this sending and receiving of information is also going on parallelly without disturbing the bigger page without disturbing the other information of the page. So whatever info is over here, the company logo and all that stuff, or the menus and the advertisements which are going, without disturbing that part of the page, we can just refresh a portion of the page. So this makes the application run faster. So if I would not use Ajax to see the next product, I would again request for an entire fresh 100 KB web page on which the 90% detail would be same, only 10% would change. So that would take time to load. That would make the application very heavy, and it would load. It will take time to load, and it would take a larger bandwidth always. So that will be economically also very heavy on the pocket for the company. So this was the reason why Ajax was introduced. Who understood the concept and who can recollect it to me? What exactly are we achieving with the help of Ajax? ऑनलाइन की पब्लिक नहीं है, तुम लोग ऑनलाइन ही आया करो, तुम लोग मतलब ऑफलाइन ही आया करो. यहाँ मैं चिल्ला चिल्ला के बात कर रहा हूँ और तुम में से एक आदमी बोल नहीं रहा है.
Sorry, समझा.
What समझा? Can you explain it back to me, please? So that I can know that you have understood. Tell me.
So like पूरे page में it's like it has like sectors which functions differently. Like usually एक website बनाते time पे rather than going on a completely different page, you can just make that sector function differently.
Okay, that portion of the page can be refreshed without refreshing the entire page. Because if I refresh the entire page, I'll continuously need 100 KB bandwidth. Exactly. Because a new page which will come will be of 100 KB, on which 90% of the information will be the same. Only 10% will change. So that would make a very slow downloading. So Ajax was introduced that even after the page is loaded, then we can on the fly just refresh a portion of that page. So the site can operate on a lower KB. But it's only at the very first instance I'll require 100 KB bandwidth for downloading. Once the site is loaded, then even if the bandwidth shrinks to 1 KB, my application will still run perfectly fine. I will have no problem whatsoever. Correct?
Yes.
शायद समझ में आया कि देखो क्या क्या चल रहा. ठीक है, शायद है क्या? Okay, he's texting. Textual chat he is following. Okay, तो इतना तुमको समझ में आ गया है तो फिर हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. Observe over here also, it will tell you in a more technical language what I just explained. So it's how Ajax works. It says Ajax allows web pages to be updated asynchronously. Asynchronous means in the background, by exchanging small amount of data with the server behind the scenes. This means that it is possible to update parts of a web page without reloading the whole page. Have I understood, guys? This is from authentic source I am reading. Okay. Classical websites, the traditional, the vintage websites which do not use Ajax must reload the entire page if the content should change. Self-explanatory, right? And examples of Ajax websites are your Google Maps, Gmail, YouTube, Facebook, right? And how Ajax works, the browser then sends through the internet, sends a request to the server, and the server only sends a part of that process which is to be updated, not the entire page, and it updates the page content. Okay. It doesn't send the entire page, it just updates the page content. Am I understood? So now let's try to do Ajax with PHP. Okay, so in that Ajax example now, we need to have the theory of Ajax we have to do, right? So programming yola. So this they will normally ask what is the ready state property and the status property. So ready state means your server is flipping between the state, like our traffic signal flips between the different states. So you have red, then for some second it becomes yellow, and then for some time it becomes green, and then does it stay green for the entire day or does it again go back to red? So how the traffic signal flips. So when do you go and when do you stop? So if you see the red signal you say stop, and when you see the green signal you say go, correct? So like this the server also is flipping between various states. So these are the states of server. So if it is 0 means request not initialized. Okay. Then once 1 means connection has been established with the server. 2 means request has been received. 3 means request has been processed. And then 4 means request, the processing has completed and the response is ready to send. So which state will I wait for the server to reach? I will wait for the server to reach at this state. Which state? I had requested. So when I requested the server that I want to see product 3. So when I click on this arrow over here, means what? I am a product 2. I request the server, please send me product 3. So when I click on this arrow, it sends the request to the server. So server will first be in 0 state. So server will first be in 0 state, not initialized. Then 1 state, request has been received. Request is processing, blah blah blah. And then when the response has been found, okay, I have got the image which you are looking for and the description also which you are looking for, that has been completed. So when this becomes 4 that time, and let's say if it has got all the information but the image which it was looking for, that image is not found, so it has to wait for these two combinations to occur. So the ready state must be 4 and the status must be 200. So if the status is 404, the page which you are looking for is not found, so the response will not be sent correctly. So on the server side, the ready state should be 4. 4 means, who can read out these ready states for me? 0 means request is not initialized. 1, just the server connection has been established, request received, processing, and request has been finished and the response is ready. So your ready state will flip from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will flip in milliseconds. So we have to wait for the ready state to become 4. And the information which we are seeking should be found also. So ready state should be 4 and the status should be 200. Then we will get a proper response. Am I understood with these ready states and status? So just learn these 4 ready states and these 4 status. These 3 status only you have to learn. Forbidden means not authorized. Forbidden means not authorized. So if I have a student, let's say if I have a Netflix mobile access, then I can watch the series or the movies on Netflix on my mobile, and I try to log in onto my Android TV and try to watch the movies, it will not allow me. It will say upgrade your plan. So even though I have access, but I have access only for the mobile phone, that is called as forbidden. So 403 means unauthorized. You have no authorization to access that content on the television. You have authorization only to check on the mobile. And 404, so let's say there was some movie which my friend recommended. He saw on Netflix, and when I go to watch that movie, they had removed that movie from the server. Some controversial movie it was. So my friend last week he was able to see, but this week when I log in and see, that movie is not there. So that movie has been removed, so not found. So if you want to display that content, your status has to be 200 and your addition has to be 4. Am I understood? So these are things which you
Yes.
have to see over here. So they will say the steady state, if it is 4 and the status is 200, then only give the response. Then only give the response and show the response. Clear? So now if you do a practical demonstration of this, so if I make a HTML sample web page in 2 portions, okay, the portion which I don't want to refresh, this portion, and the portion which I want to refresh, this portion. So now I will try to ask the user to enter his or her name. If the name follows these 2 conditions, the length is more than 3 and it is not blank, okay, so only I will refresh this portion. So where it is written your answer, there I will just refresh. Instead of your answer I will put valid. So if he enters Alice, only this part, green part, will refresh to valid, and if he enters a blank and tries to submit, if he doesn't enter anything and does a submission, so the length is, it is blank, so I will only refresh this portion and say invalid. That's all. The red portion will remain the same. So how we do that? So we have to play this game. So from HTML, pass on the control to the JS. From JS, pass it to XML, and XML will pass it to PHP. So this is the response request cycle. So this blue one is your request, and this green one is your response cycle. You have to send a request and we will get a response, and when we get a response we will only refresh the green part, we will not refresh the entire web page. So let me show you all this. So see, so this is what I have made in the body part, okay, just one label, enter your name, besides that a text box, then a button, okay, this is input type button, not submit. Submit directly sends to the server. So I want to send to the JavaScript from my HTML. From my HTML, I want to send to JavaScript. So I have taken input type as button, and below I have taken a simple paragraph whose ID is enum and who's written over here your answer. So only this part of the page should refresh, not the whole page. And now when you click on button, it goes to the JavaScript validate function. Okay, this is my own function, user defined function. You can just give whatever name you want to give. I give my validate. So I go to my function, my validate. So from HTML to JavaScript. Okay, read the text box value, create an XML object, and now send this to the PHP file. So this is the file which will do the validation for you, and whatever this uname has come, I'm adding it to the URL like we do in do get. So in a do get, how the data was sent, the data was sent in the URL. So I send this name to this PHP page in the URL. In that PHP page, this name will be addressed as A. So in this HTML file it is uname, but once it goes to the PHP file, you will address it as A. Okay, send the response, this is send the request, and the server will process the data. So which is that file, slip a.php, this is that file. So whatever you have got from the URL, read it, take in this variable. If this variable is blank, username cannot be blank, and if the length is less than 3, username is too short, else it's a valid name. So if it doesn't go in this if, doesn't go in this if else, will compulsory will go over here. So that's all what the PHP is doing. The PHP is sending the response. By sending the response, then we will wait for these two conditions to meet. That the steady state should be 4 and the status should be 200. And once I get that, then which part of the page will I refresh? I will only refresh that part of the page whose ID is enum. So I will come over here, get element by ID enum. This is called as inner HTML. Whatever is written in black over here is called as inner HTML. Just refresh that with the response which you get from the PHP page. So this is how your Ajax will work. So we'll start from the HTML. On the click of a button, we'll call a function in JavaScript. That function will read the value, make a XML request object, pass on that data to a particular PHP file for processing. Whatever parameters we have taken, add it to the variable in the URL, send the request, and we are doing asynchronous. So this true means asynchronous. Method I'm using is get. URL I'm sending is this URL for processing, and this true means is the asynchronous mode on or off. So asynchronous mode is on. Send the request. Request will come over here. It will do the processing, the logic base. And now when it sends the response, I want to reflect the response. So I will wait for these two conditions to meet. The ready state should be 4 and the status should be 200. And which part of the page will I refresh? I will only refresh that part of the page whose ID is enum. So I go to document, get element by ID whose ID is enum, and change its inner HTML with the response text I am getting from the server. So if I just save this, and if I just save this, okay, both are saved. Now let me go and run and show it to you all. I go to Ajax, I go to slip 8, and now enter. See, you see this your answer. So now if I come over here and I say Alice and click on, so it says valid username. This part is refreshing. If I only enter Al and say username too short, and if I say nothing, username cannot be blank. Only that part of the page is refreshing, not the entire page. Yes, no, maybe, guys.